You know, I once had one of my mentors tell me, you never want to go too deep into meditation before you give a talk. So I'm just taking a little time here before we continue. So, are you ready? Yeah? Are you ready? Fired up? How about that Donna going right across that piano? Did you hear that? Woo! Bring it on. Bring it on. Unity 2.0. Boom. So fun. So are you ready? Yeah. I hope so, because this morning we're going beyond your daddy's new thought. Or said another way, we're going beyond Unity 1.0 and exploring and see if we can't discover something a little bit about Unity 2.0 and our bold new vision. Are you willing? Are you willing? Good. I'm inviting each of us this morning to just let our imagination run beyond any prior boundaries and just be okay with having a little fun this morning. Are you good with that? That's good. That's good. The way I would like to start it off is, many years ago, for 4 years, I studied with a dear friend now, a gentleman named Bruno Curves, the Jewish mystical tradition of Kabbalah. And, you know, it's really just a way of moving past these old blocks, these old ideas, this old understanding, and just allowing those old blocks to wash away and then just move into this new potential and realizing this new potential. At its simplest, that's what it is. And so I spent 4 years studying with him one-on-one. But he wrote this amazing poem about just that, about moving beyond boundaries, about moving into Unity 2.0 if you want, or moving beyond your daddy's new thought. And the poem is entitled Time Will Tell. And I'd like to read this to you. A story is but a story, told 1,000 words or more, but a story can come to life when it captures the imagination. The dynamics of its inner structure will transform reality until its message coincides with what people know as true. Or is it that reality structures the story, told and experienced as one and the same? What else is there than a story? Time will tell, for the best story is the one that outlives all the others. The best story is the one that outlives all the others. What is that best story for you that is outliving all the others? And what story absolutely comes to life as it captures your imagination? You know, it was Ernest Holmes and also co-founder of Unity, Myrtle Fillmore, who said the ideas and stories that capture our imagination come from a divine plan. They come from a divine plan. There are so many stories we could pursue with this introduction, but the ones I would like to pursue this morning are our new emerging imaginal stories. Stories beyond stories that we've had in the past. And how even though these stories are way beyond our prior boundaries, they always come back to awakening to a consciousness of love. Have you noticed? Every story, every journey, every challenge, every time you move through something, in the end you discover, wow, that took me into awakening to a greater consciousness of love. And so let's explore that. There is a new story emerging, and that story that is emerging is, we are not alone. We are not alone. It's a story that is really emerging in our day. And this new story, which is still the story of the expansion of consciousness, is going to play a role in the new emerging church. It already is, have you noticed? Those of you who like to explore in your spiritual journeys, you know that more and more and more of this is coming. And you're realizing, you're hearing more about it. and there's nothing to resist. This is all a part of our expanding of our consciousness. So my question this morning is, do you want to be a leader in integrating and shaping a new church that lives and serves beyond prior boundaries? Or do you want to wait, play it safe, find out what the new church is, and be a follower? Let me read that again. My question this morning is, do you want to be a leader in integrating and shaping a new church that lives and serves beyond prior boundaries? It doesn't just have to be this boundary we're exploring and having a little fun with this morning. But I want to be a leader. I don't want to check in with other organizations, or I don't even want to check in with Unity Worldwide Ministries and say, well, what is the new church to be? I want us to discover, what is this collection of people here? What is coming into your imagination that you can just see that to realize a greater consciousness of love, we need to go in this direction. And you're getting guidance around it. Let's bring it forward. Let's go with it. I can tell you that's where I want to go. I want to go beyond prior boundaries and have each one of us check in with Spirit and just see, what is it that I'm awakening to that maybe wasn't part of my imagination in the past, maybe wasn't part of the collective imagination in the past, but it's coming now. And I'm going to nurture it, I'm going to mature it, I'm going to be respectful with it, I'm not going to be an ego about it, but I know it's coming for me. And many of you have shared with me what that is. And if you are willing to check in with Spirit and just open your imagination, have a little fun, see life in a bigger way, I would invite you again to our weekend next week with the new human teacher and the demonstrator of the new human consciousness, Deanne Hampton. Remember, on Saturday, we're going to have a 4-hour session. And she truly is somebody whose consciousness has truly opened up around where humanity's going. And so just put that, if you can't make it on Saturday, be sure to be here on Sunday. As we've said many times, it's not going to be like this. We're going to open it up, and it's going to be a totally different kind of series, our Sunday service. You know, in Unity, most of us are aware that Jesus' 12 disciples represented these 12 powers, and that one of the powers is this power of imagination. Let me read you what Einstein said. Now, here's a man of the intellect, right? Yes, of the intellect. But he knew the power of imagination. He said, imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited to all we now know and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world and all there ever will be to know and understand. It embraces the divine blueprint for your life and what is yet to come. What is yet to come. My conviction is that Renaissance Unity, and even in the Unity movement, that we are at that point where we've got to use our imagination. We've got to spice things up a little bit, right? We've got to spice it up a little bit. Now, I understand that truth is always the truth, right? That it's never changing. But we're awakening all the time as well, right? To what that is and how that shows up. Relationships, organizations, they can get boring if you don't spice it up a little bit. Would you agree? Yeah. So we've got to use our imagination and begin to wonder and blaze the trail and find out what that is, what that trail is that we are to blaze. Are you willing? I am so willing. One of the things I like to do with my own imagination, and I'll just play with me for a little bit this morning because I'm going to go 2 different places where I like to go. And one of them is I like to, after the whole day, just sit down and rest, and I'll go through these near-death experiences. And I'll watch these YouTubes on near-death experiences, and I'm watching them in this way. I'm saying, what's the common theme here? What is really happening here? What is this teaching us? Why is it that we're getting to learn about so many of these now? I mean, you can go and literally watch hundreds of them. You can do your own research. You don't have to have somebody else tell you what they mean. I mean, there are hundreds of them out there. And, one of the things that I've concluded from watching them is that consciousness appears to you in a way that is so loving, in a way that you can fully embrace it. So often people in the Christian tradition, they meet Jesus as soon as they make their transition. Can we all say we're aware of that commonly happens, right? That commonly happens. So I want to tell you about this woman. Her name is Sarah. And, she was one of those that, she was kind of scientific mind, and she had these questions about the cosmos, and are we alone, and what is the cosmos, and are there other forms of intelligence out there? And so she put her life into studying the stars, into the cosmos, and into her faith. She put her life into studying the stars, into the cosmos, and into her faith to bring it all together. Would you agree that that is a new emerging, many are working to reconcile these two, right? That's very common. That's new. That's emerging in a greater way to bring science and spirituality together. So here's this woman. She's driving down the road. It's a winding road, and she's wondering, using her imagination, about exactly these things. What's beyond the stars? What, are we alone? Is there other intelligent life out there? And boom, she runs off the edge of the hill, and she dies. And then you can actually go online and listen to this. And she goes into this tunnel that they often speak of, and then she goes into a heavenly realm, and she meets Jesus there. And she reports, as is often reported, there's this overwhelming feeling of love and unity. There's this overwhelming feeling of love and unity that is very common in all those. And she's standing there with Jesus. She asks him a question, one true to her deep wonder and desire to know. One of the things that I have noticed in my own spiritual journey and in being a spiritual leader in a church is when people report to me these transcendent experiences, it often comes from a deep desire to know. There's like this sacred determination. There's like a sacred determination. I've seen it over and over and over. It seems to be the trigger that I really want to know. I really want to know. So there she is, and she really, really wants to know. And she has this deep desire to know this answer to this question. So there she is with Jesus, and she asks him, are there aliens, beings out there in the universe? Imagine that. You get to heaven, and the first question you got is, are there alien beings out there? I said we're going to have a little fun this morning. So Jesus said, Sarah, the universe is vast and filled with wonder beyond what you can imagine. Sarah replies, so there are aliens, other civilizations. Jesus said, life in all its forms is precious to us. The cosmos teems with diversity. Each planet and star system a unique expression of divine creativity. But remember, Sarah, the nature of that life may be beyond your current understanding. The nature of that life is filled with new infinite possibilities. And then Sarah asked Jesus, she says, but why haven't we found concrete evidence of aliens? She's still not satisfied, right? Look, I wouldn't say she says you're dodging my question, but maybe she's just wanted a little more specific. So Jesus says, the universe operates on a scale beyond human perception. Time, space, and even the laws of physics are not constant throughout creation. Some civilizations exist in dimensions you cannot yet access or understand. Sarah says, so our search for extraterrestrial life, and Jesus interrupts her right then, and he says, is just beginning. Is just beginning. Jesus continues, your curiosity, Sarah, your curiosity and your wonder are gifts. They drive you to explore and understand the magnificence of creation. But remember, there are truths that transcend scientific inquiry. Jesus continues, Sarah, your work is important. Continue to explore and question and seek knowledge, but also remember the greatest mysteries of human existence are often found within the human heart. The greatest mysteries of human existence are found within the human heart and in the connections we forge with one another. I did not know this morning's daily word was togetherness. I sincerely did not. I love that. He goes on to say, remember, Sarah, the universe is full of wonders, but the greatest miracle is the capacity for love and understanding in every sentient being. Cherish this gift and share it with others. Sarah, choose always the higher vibrational life of a consciousness of love for all sentient beings. Can you hear this morning that that's a new frontier? That is a new frontier. We're going beyond just our relationships. We're going to the place of the relationship with all sentient beings. That is clear to me. That is so clear to me. I wonder what a world like that would look like. What would the capacity to actually show up and realize that all sentient life has that capacity for love and understanding? How would that change our life? And how would that change the definition of the new church? These are things I'm inviting us all to just let our imagination run and see what that could be for a new church. As mentioned before, the consciousness of love is our mission, and it is a fifth dimensional consciousness. I mean, we've all been there. We've all been to those places where we absolutely dropped resistance, right? We absolutely dropped what we're holding on to. We absolutely did, and then we noticed a different vibrational experience. Have you been there? Yes. You've been there. You've been there in your relationships when you were trying to get things worked out, and finally you just dropped all the resistance to be present. And you felt a whole new, higher vibrational way of life. That's where we're going. Not just that we participated in here and there, but it becomes our way of life. You know, I wrote this newsletter article this week, and I did it to get everybody's imagination going about our bold new vision, and I put things out there that, you know, it went out to a lot, and some probably went, whoa, hey, what are they doing over there? Let me read it to you. Creating a world that chooses higher vibrational life first. What if we absolutely knew that creating a movement of people committed to choosing and living a higher vibrational life was our calling? And what if we absolutely knew there were already other planets in the cosmos already living such a liberated way that they are masters at choosing a higher vibrational life? And what if we knew they were so committed to choosing higher vibrational life? And what if we absolutely knew what kind of planetary life that was like? What if we absolutely knew that? And what if we were absolutely all in on doing our unique part in creating and amplifying a world committed to that kind of life on our planet? What would that look like for your life, and what would it look like for our you? You know, there's something else I like to do with my curiosity and imagination, and I do it more. Remember, I'm a left brain engineer. I mean, you got to show me proof, right? You got to show me proof in my old days, or I'm not so sure. I'm with you, you know? But I'm loosening up around that. And so 4 years ago, I was introduced to a friend that has witnessed and spent times on another planet. Yeah. And I've heard her share about it many times, and she shares that the whole civilization that she visited is built around love. The whole civilization. One of these things she shares that I find absolutely interesting is that conscious parenting and the teaching of children is recognized as the highest calling and duty on the planet. Are you with me? That's the value. It's a whole shift in values. It's a whole shift in values. It's a consciousness of love for God, themselves, and for all sentient life. My friend also shares that she's actually from such a planet. That there is, for her, she's been through this extensive training where she had to spend much time in training about parenting and teaching children before she could move into having children on this planet. Here, how do we do it? Baptism by fire. Would you agree? We are just thrown into parenting. We are just thrown into relationships without that nurturing from the beginning. But there, it's different. There, that's priority one. They're very much aware that there is this radiance that comes from sacred relationships. And she actually shares that the whole planet is beaming with this radiance. Yeah. I said we're going to use our imagination this morning. Let's do that. Let's have fun with it. You know, what we're going to do here is I have asked a Unity minister, anybody know Reverend Rose Houston? She's a very, very dear soul. Reverend Rose Houston was once the director of Silent Unity. All right. So this is a woman who's heard and seen a lot. I'm sure you're like me. I mean, when I call Silent Unity, something happens, right? It just does. And she's been the minister at Unity of Strongsville, and she's now the minister at Unity of Girard, and she has agreed to come for 2 visioning sessions, And so the first one is just going to be general, and then the second one's going to be more specific around what came around the first one, so we can keep drilling down and discovering what that unique space is for us here at Renaissance Unity, that one that's out beyond the boundaries of where we've been through, the one that brings the new human, that brings the new humanity, and that is all a part of bringing this new civilization here on earth. I don't know what that's going to be, our bold new vision, but I do know this. The greatest miracle in the entire cosmos is the miracle of the consciousness of love with all sentient beings. That's the new frontier. Please come next Saturday, next Sunday. Just let your imagination go. Just allow it to be with you, and let's just discover together our bold new vision at Renaissance Unity. Are you in? I'm in.